Section 2. Culture. Upon completing this section, you should be well informed about the diversity of Southeast Asian cultures and the impact of Chinese, Indian, European, and Muslim civilizations on their development. An area of immense richness and diversity, Southeast Asia consists of 10 nations that are multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and multilingual. The religions and civilizations from the East, Western colonization, and independence have all been major influences on the development of diverse characteristics in the countries of Southeast Asia. Among these characteristics are the diversity in the size and composition of their populations, the number of religions practiced, the number of languages spoken, and the identities of the peoples living in this area. Understanding the cultural diversification in this area is important for doing business with Southeast Asian countries. In this section, you will learn about languages used in Southeast Asia, religions practiced in Southeast Asia, understanding Southeast Asians, influence of outside cultures, high power distance and collectivism, and face and emotional approaches. Southeast Asians speak some 1,000 languages. They are from a number of language families: Sinitic, spoken by local Chinese communities, Tibeto-Burman, Karen, Miao Yao, Thai, including the national languages of Thailand and Laos, Malayo-Polynesian, which is the largest and most widely distributed as it covers an area from Madagascar to the South Pacific, Mon Khmer, Viet Muang, and Papuan, which is popular only in eastern Indonesia. Western languages still exist in this region. French is spoken in the mainland and Southeast Asia. Dutch is popular in Indonesia. While no longer spoken in the Philippines, Spanish vocabulary is still used in the various Philippine languages. Portuguese remains popular in East Timor, and English is becoming more popular all over the region. Religion in Southeast Asia is as diverse as language. Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and the southernmost parts of the Philippines adhere to Sunni Islam. Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, and Cambodia tend to practice Theravada Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism is popular in many parts of Vietnam. The Philippines, except for the southern region, where Islam dominates, is a bastion of Roman Catholicism. Understanding cultures in Southeast Asia requires knowing the impacts of different cultures in this region, namely Chinese culture, Islamic culture, Indian culture, and Western culture. Most of the Chinese communities have a very strong influence in this region in terms of culture values and economic activities. They have a strong sense of history, follow Confucian ideologies, value family loyalty, and emphasize personal contributions to the community. Those values impact local cultures because the Chinese people dominate the local economy in many of the countries in this region. In recent years, as China builds stronger ties with Southeast Asia, local Chinese communities have gained more opportunities to thrive, despite their exclusion and persecution in some countries such as Indonesia and Malaysia. Most of the people in the Indian community practice Hinduism. They believe in predestination and that their reincarnation will depend very much on their conduct in the present life. Traditionally, most of the western part of Southeast Asia has been subject to the influence of Indian culture. However, Islam dominates Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei, resulting in a relatively homogeneous culture within these countries. Despite the diversity of cultures in this region, there are some common values among the local people. The first one is high power distance, which is characterized as rigid hierarchy, ascribed status, strong formal structure of social relations, and great social distance. Schools teach children to be obedient, education is school-centered, and learning is the standardized process of receiving knowledge. Collectivism and group loyalty are deeply rooted in many Southeast Asian countries, where the primacy of the group is fundamental to society's existence. The concept of face in Southeast Asia reaches far beyond the individual level. While everyone needs a sense of self-respect and would like to be respected by others, the importance of face is far greater in Southeast Asian cultures, where the behaviors and relationships among members are more focused on the group level. Another important cultural issue is emotion versus objectivity. In Western cultures, an instrumental approach dominates the business relationships, as the focus is on achieving objectivity. However, in Southeast Asian cultures, people use more emotions in their relationships and in the judgment of business practices. Thus, what is economically reasonable and right in Western cultures may not gain support in Southeast Asian culture. David is a sales representative for a multinational company that produces and sells medical equipment. Recently, he made a trip to Indonesia to meet with potential clients. He was so busy during that time that the only thing he was thinking about was signing contracts. Unfortunately, one day when he met 3 potential customers and was told to take off his shoes to enter the office, he found there was a hole in his sock. He felt so embarrassed that he tried hard to hide the hole and felt uncomfortable during the meeting. The worst thing is that, during the meeting, his counterpart, Mr. Mohammed, invited him to attend a dinner with a group of businessmen. David believed that this was a great chance for his business, but he was also worried that he would have to take off his shoes again during dinner. How could he make do with the hole in his sock? By now, you should understand the different aspects of the culture among Southeast Asian countries and know the basic characteristics of the background cultures which interact with each other to form the diverse cultures in this area.